Marlon Brando was one of the most famous actors in the world, and his work continues to influence movies and actors today. He was born on April 3, 1924, in Omaha, Nebraska, USA. His full name was Marlon Brando Jr., but he became famous simply as Marlon Brando. His childhood was not easy. His parents had a difficult marriage, and Marlon was often unhappy at home. He had problems with his school, too. He was a smart boy, but he often got into trouble because he didn't like the rules. His family moved around a lot, and Marlon spent time in several cities, including in Illinois and California. Despite these problems, Marlon developed a passion for acting at a young age. As a teenager, Marlon started to act in small theater productions in his free time. He enjoyed performing and soon realized that he wanted to become an actor. He decided to leave home and move to New York City to follow his dream. There, he studied at the famous Actors Studio, a school that trains actors to become the best they can be. The school taught a special method of acting called method acting, which Marlon adopted. This method helped actors to really feel the emotions of their characters and act in a very real, believable way. Marlon was one of the best students at the Actors Studio, and it was not long before he became a well-known face on stage. In the early 1950s, Marlon Brando's career really took off. In 1951, he starred in the film A Streetcar Named Desire, based on the famous play by Tennessee Williams. Marlon played Stanley Kowalski, a rough and passionate man who gets involved in a difficult family situation. His performance was full of energy and emotion, and it made a huge impact on the audience. It was one of the best performances of his career and marked the beginning of his rise to stardom in Hollywood. But it was not just on the stage where Marlon Brando excelled. He quickly became known as a talented film actor, and in 1954, he starred in On the Waterfront. In this movie, Marlon played Terry Malloy, a dock worker who becomes involved in a fight against corruption. His performance in this film was so powerful that it earned him an Academy Award for Best Actor. This was one of the most important awards in the film industry, and winning it made Marlon even more famous. However, it was in 1972 that Marlon Brando became a true Hollywood legend. That year, he starred in The Godfather, a film about a powerful mafia family. Marlon played the role of Vito Corleone, the head of the Corleone crime family. His performance as Vito was incredible. He used a special voice and body language to create a character that was both strong and vulnerable. His portrayal of Vito Corleone is often seen as one of the best performances in film history. The Godfather became a huge success, and it was praised by both critics and audiences. Marlon Brando's performance was unforgettable, and he won his second Academy Award for it, even though he famously refused to attend the award ceremony. In 1973, Marlon Brando caused a big surprise at the Academy Awards. He did not accept his Oscar for The Godfather. Instead, he sent a Native American woman named Sachin Littlefeather to speak on his behalf. She explained that Marlon was not attending because he was protesting the way Native Americans were treated in Hollywood. This action made Marlon Brando even more famous, and showed that he was not afraid to stand up for what he believed in, even if it meant going against Hollywood traditions. Although The Godfather was the film that made Marlon Brando a true icon, he continued to make movies throughout the 1970s and 1980s. However, not all of these films were as successful as The Godfather. Sometimes Marlon had problems with the directors or the storylines, and the movies didn't do well at the box office. Despite this, his reputation as a talented actor remained strong. people still respected him because of his unforgettable performances in films like A Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, and The Godfather. Later in life, Marlon Brando became less interested in acting. He made fewer films, and when he did, his roles were often smaller. Some critics said that Marlon was no longer the great actor he had once been. His health was also a concern, and he began to gain weight. However, despite his personal struggles, Marlon still received praise for his earlier work, and he remained a figure that young actors looked up to. In the 1990s, Marlon Brando made a brief return to the Godfather series. He appeared in The Godfather Part 3 in 1990, but this time, his role was much smaller. Many people thought that his performance was not as good as it had been in the first two films. Still, The Godfather Part 3 was a successful film, and Marlon's appearance in it brought attention to his earlier work. Outside of acting, Marlon Brando was known for his love of nature and animals. He cared deeply about the environment, and often spoke about issues such as pollution and the mistreatment of animals. He also had a deep connection with the Pacific island of Tahiti, where he owned a large piece of land. He spent many years of his life living on this island, away from the spotlight of Hollywood. Marlon Brando's life was different from many other Hollywood stars. He was not interested in fame or money as much as other actors. Instead, he wanted to live his life on his own terms and do things that made him happy. Sadly, Marlon Brando passed away on July 1, 2004, at the age of 80. His death was a sad moment for his fans all over the world. Even though he was not as active in his later years, people still remembered him for his amazing work as an actor. His legacy continues to inspire many actors today, and his movies remain popular. Marlon Brando's acting style changed the world of cinema. He brought a new level of realism to Hollywood, showing that actors could connect deeply with their characters and feel the emotions of the story. Before Marlon, many actors focused on looking perfect or acting in a way that seemed fake. Marlon's style was different. He made acting more honest and true to life. Many of today's most famous actors, like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Leonardo DiCaprio, have said that they were inspired by Marlon Brando. Despite the problems he faced in his personal life, Marlon Brando will always be remembered as one of the greatest actors to ever live. His work in films like A Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, and The Godfather showed the world just how powerful and moving acting can be. Marlon Brando's impact on the world of film is still felt today, and his name will continue to be associated with excellence in acting for many years to come.